Hi everybody, I just wanted to hop on today to share a quick video. I was watching Dr. Justin Coulson, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. He is a parenting expert. He's written several children's books, and I was following him on YouTube, and he posted a video about how to parent children during the pandemic. And I learned a lot from that video, and so I took some notes that I have here in front of me, and I just wanted to share them with my families and educators here on Clay Academic Facebook group page. So we are here in Oklahoma. We're entering into phase 2. More businesses are starting to open up. We're all getting anxious and excited and ready to get back out into the world. But some of us are nervous as well and not quite ready to step out. And so we are still dealing with some of these challenges that he listed or that he talked about in his video. And so I just want to kind of share these with you because they were very helpful for me. And so the 3 things that he talked about were screen time, socialization, and challenging behaviors. Those are 3 things that I'm dealing with on a daily basis, and I'm sure some of you guys are too. And so again, like I said, I wanted to hop on here and just kind of share some tips. So the first one was screen time. So our kids are awake for about 15 plus hours a day, right? They can't really go outside and play with their friends right now. There's no socialization through school for them. They have the socialization of their siblings if they have siblings, but most of the time they're in the house with their family, right? So they don't have a lot of socialization. And so screen time, because we are living in 2020, and every child probably has a tablet or a phone or a television, right, that they can have access to. Our kids are spending a lot of time in front of these devices. And so he talked about limiting that time that our children are on those devices based on what you feel is best for your child. It's going to be different for everyone, but he said he recommended no more than 4 hours a day. Maybe you think 4 hours is too much for your child. Maybe you want to limit it to an hour or 2 hours. And maybe your child is on that tablet for 6 hours a day and you're okay with that. You do what's best for your child and your family. But he said what is more important than how much time your child is spending on the tablet, what's more important is what they are doing on the tablet or these devices. What are they actually doing? So he talks about there's 2 things that kids can do on tablets. One is they can be a passive consumer, and the other one is where they're being interactive. And so what we don't want is for our children to be passive consumers. So what does that look like? That looks like your child sitting in front of the television watching Netflix movies, or your child sitting in front of the computer watching YouTube videos for hours at a time, or your child mindlessly scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, right? We're even guilty of that ourselves as parents. And so they're not actively learning or actively engaged. They're just kind of consuming information. That's what we want to stay away from. It's okay to do that sometimes. I think it's great for like when you're winding down to watch a Netflix movie or hop on Facebook, just as you're kind of winding down. But if we want to think of ways that our children can actually utilize the tablets to interact, to create learning opportunities for them, we want to think of things like maybe your child can create a YouTube channel, right? Or maybe your child can create a vlog or even a blog. Maybe your child is accessing some of those educational websites that I put up on Clay Academics, and they're playing educational games. Maybe your child's playing video games like Minecraft. Video games are a great way to help kids develop critical thinking skills as they're building and creating and challenging themselves through video games, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. He also talked about monitoring the content. Okay, you want to make sure that it's appropriate. Talk about video games, making sure that they're appropriate video games, making sure that if they're out watching YouTube, that they're watching YouTube videos or Netflix movies that are appropriate for them. And again, whatever you deem is appropriate for your family. We can't tell you what's appropriate for your family. And also the context. When are they utilizing these devices? We want to, discourage them from using them at the dinner table or during family time, right? We want to just probably discourage them from using them at bedtime as they're getting ready to wind down. Or if you're like me, maybe you use Facebook or YouTube to kind of watch those videos to kind of help you wind down. So kind of base it on your child. But I would like for younger kids, I would definitely say having them play with their tablets before bedtime is not a good idea for them. And then just kind of, looking at parameters on setting time limits on the amount of time that your child is actually utilizing are accessing screen time. Okay. The second thing you talked about was socialization. Again, we've been in the house for several weeks now, so we're all ready to get out. But some of us may not feel comfortable doing that just yet. So what can we do to create opportunities for our children to be able to socialize with their friends and their family members? A lot of you, myself included, have gotten creative and started doing FaceTiming with family and friends, using Zoom to, see our family and our friends. So those are some ways that we can do it safely. But as we start to open back up in phase 2 here in Oklahoma, we can start to have those play dates again. But maybe it's a play date where they're outdoors in an open area and they're 6 feet apart, right? We're telling them you can play together, but just don't be in each other's personal space. Your friend's playing over there and you're playing over here, and we're just getting really creative with setting those opportunities for children to have play dates. We can also exercise with our friends and our families, right? Go on walks where we're walking 6 feet apart, or we're riding our bicycles together. We're getting that face-to-face interaction. We're socializing, but we're also doing it in a safe manner. So we can get really creative with creating opportunities for our children to socialize with their friends and family. And then the third one was challenging behavior. Because we are stuck in the house for so long, and a lot of us parents are working from home, we are starting to get frustrated, and our kids are starting to get frustrated. And so I was talking to my hairdresser yesterday, and she was telling me some of the things that she's doing with her kids, and I just had to give her a shout out because she's an amazing parent. But she was saying that when her kids are frustrated, she actually acknowledges their behavior, and they work together to come up with a solution. She gives them a voice, a platform in which to share, their concerns and their frustrations. And I thought that was huge for kids, because a lot of times we as parents, we want to say, this is what it is, this is what you're going to do, and that's it. We don't give children an opportunity to express, how they're feeling, or to explain why they're doing some of the things that they're doing. And sometimes as parents, if we'll stop and take the time to listen to them, or at least give them a platform in which to share how they feel, they may not always win in that situation, but we're giving them an opportunity to develop those communication skills, and to help them reason through some of the things that they're doing, and also to see it from our perspective, and us give us an opportunity to see it from their perspective. But when Dr. Coulson discussed dealing with challenging behaviors, he talked about viewing discipline as not as a punishment, but as an opportunity to teach and guide and to help our children make good choices, right? We don't want to look at discipline as an opportunity for us to punish our kids, but as an opportunity to help our kids to become better individuals. And so he talked about 3 E's, and they were explore, explain, and empower. So when your child is doing something that's inappropriate, the first thing you want to do is explore. You want to find out why your child is doing what they're doing. And you want to help them you want to de-escalate the situation or calm them down. We know as parents, when we're frustrated or when we're agitated or when we're angry, we're here, and our thinking is here. It's difficult for us to think when we're angry or we're upset. And so the same thing happens with children. When they're angry or they're upset or they're frustrated, they're here. And so we have to find ways as parents to calm them down to where they can think and understand what we're saying to them. And so what that will look like, for example, let's say your child is on the tablet at 3 o'clock in the morning. And so you go to your child and you say, we're going to put the iPad away because it's 3 o'clock in the morning. And your child gets upset because they want to continue to watch their video. And so you're going to say, I understand that you're upset and that you want to continue watching this video, right? That's exploring. You're acknowledging how they feel, and you are, and then you're gonna, you might even want to ask them why. We talked about that. Okay, so why are you watching the tablet at 3 o'clock in the morning? Maybe it's because they're bored. And then the second step is explain. So you want to explain, okay, so you're watching the tablet because you're bored, and now you're upset because I'm asking you to put it away. When you're explaining, you're telling them, you're not trying to fix the problem, but what you want them to understand is why they should not be watching YouTube at 3 o'clock in the morning. So you may say, you're going to be tired in the morning if you continue to watch YouTube until 3 o'clock in the morning. We have set rules. What are our rules around when we can be on our tablet or watching television, right? You want to remind them of the rules. So in that situation, you want to kind of explain and get them to understand why that inappropriate behavior is inappropriate. And then the third one is empower. So instead of you taking control of the situation, you want to empower them to have control of the situation. So you're watching YouTube at 3 o'clock in the morning. We talked about that. One of our rules that we do not watch YouTube past 10 o'clock. And so what should we do? And you're putting the power back in their hands and saying, and hopefully they're saying, well, I should put the iPad away, or I shouldn't be watching the iPad at 3 o'clock in the morning, or a better choice would be for me to do X, Y, and Z, right? You want to empower them to be able to make a decision that is appropriate for them and also that aligns with the rules that you have in place in your home. And then I would just challenge you to, seek advice from an expert if you are, really having some difficulties in some of these areas with your children. And also reach out to your friends and your family members that may have children in the same age group as you and may be dealing with some of the same things that you're dealing with.